Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How is February treating you? We're in a brand new month, and I really feel like February is moving really quickly. February is going fast, and it's great. Good morning. My name is Rumbi from Tulia Group, and today I'm going to be talking about domestic worker visas. But before I talk about that, I'll talk a little bit about Tulia and what we do and some of the work that we're currently doing now. So welcome everyone who's joining on Instagram and on Facebook. I am on both on Instagram and on Facebook. So thank you very much for joining and good morning. We've had a lot of questions that have come through since our chat last week, so I'm going to talk about that and also talk about domestic worker visas, because we've had so many questions about that. So thank you for joining and good morning to everyone who's joining us. Say hello in the chat. Happy to see you guys and thank you so much for joining. So Tulia is an organization that provides legal advice and support for migrants of African origin living in the UK. Primarily, we serve migrants from sub-Sahara Africa, so most of our clients are from the southern part of Africa, but we also have other people that we serve from all over Africa, and that's those are the majority of the people that we serve. We give advice, legal advice in immigration law and also in family law. We do advice and representation for immigration, but for family law we only give advice and we don't do representation. So we also then give other support. We support people. We partner with multidisciplinary team, people with different expertise in different areas. So we're able to provide holistic support. So if we're supporting someone through a divorce, for example, they're a person who's migrated from South Africa, from Zimbabwe, from Botswana, from Nigeria. They've had problems, marital problems. We advise on the divorce, but we also offer recovery courses and programs. And we partnered with Living Your Best Life, and they've got a team of counselors who are absolutely amazing, who do the facilitating on the courses, and it's just really great. So we're running one now, and anyone who's interested, it's starting next week on Thursday. So the information is on our page. We also run peer support groups. We support people to get accommodation if they're destitute. We also support people with emergency supplies, food, shelter. So sometimes when you're living in the UK and being an immigrant, things can go wrong. Things can go really wrong, and you end up with nowhere to stay. So we are filling that gap where people have fallen down, and getting them up is what we then help them to do. So if I can just explain what we mean by being a community interest company. So for some people maybe ask a lot of questions, so I it's important to answer those on here live from me, rather than listening to rumors or things that you don't really understand. So we provide advice that is paid for. So we've got a business side to our organization, a business side where we charge for the work that we do, and for every person who pays us £1, part of that pound, say 30p or 40p, so £100, £40, £60 will go to our running costs, salaries, etc. And then a part of that, so £40 is an example. So part of that will go to support the people who cannot afford to pay for legal advice, the people who are destitute and who don't have anywhere to stay or anywhere to live, and we're able to plug in that gap. So we combine our surplus, plus we partner with other organizations. We partner with organizations that are amazing and support migrants in the UK. So we provide that holistic support, and that surplus enables us to do projects. It enables us to do to give people food, because people will say, you're a lawyer, why are you giving people food? Because of the business model that we have, it's a community interest company. So it's a company that builds the community from our trading. So we trade, we give advice, we do, we look for services that are commissioned by local authorities. So we do a wide range of profit-making work. And from our profits, we then plow back into the community and help those who are less fortunate. So today, I'm just going to give an example. Before I start talking about domestic worker visas, I'm going to give an example of one of the people who sent me a picture yesterday with her keys to her house. And that, that just blew me away. So this young lady, she was homeless, in a really bad relationship, which wasn't very good for her and her little child. She was being taken to court, in the family courts. She didn't have money. She didn't have papers. So we were able to support her in her legal case, pro bono, so for free. We're able to help her in the contact, in the case for access and contact, give her advice in that respect. At the same time, she was really, really broken because of all the experiences that she had had. Domestic violence, living in the UK with no visa. So because of that, she had become, quite depressed and suicidal at some point. So we were able to refer her for in-house counseling. This was during the pandemic. Things were really tough for her, and we partnered with a counselor who was able to counsel her. Dr. Christine was able to spend a lot of time building her up, helping her with anxiety, with fear, just really building. We were able to provide emergency food when she needed food. Sometimes she would have no food. We supported in the immigration. We gave advice. We made the applications. We got her into accommodation, so into government accommodation. She was able to get into the government accommodation. And this journey with this one person was from initially approaching us up to yesterday when she had the keys. It's been like almost 18 months to 2 years. So it's not the work that we do, it's not many people, but it's impactful people with somebody who's on the verge of suicide, verge of living on the street, of hopelessness. So we were able to support with the advice from the legal side, from immigration, family law, therapeutic support, a community. So we were able to plug her into a community with other women, with other people going through similar journeys, to encourage each other. We have a 6 a.m. prayer group. We're a Christian organization. The ethos of the work that we do is based on Matthew 25. That's the inspiration. And so we were able to plug her into a prayer group, and to have prayer every morning, Monday to Friday, 6 to 7. Just to have that encouragement, building up, hope when you're feeling hopeless, when you're at the point of giving up, having that despair. We were able to provide a community of other people to lift up and to help. Mothers, sisters, who were able to stand together. And so now, we're so happy that she's got her keys, she's got her papers, she's got a really good outcome in the family courts. So it's well-rounded, really intensive work that we do. So the lives are just a part of it, where we just give information, raise awareness. It's part of our brand pillars. So our brand pillars are educate, empower, and restore. So we educate through information sharing. We empower people through our collaborative work, where people attend courses. This young lady also attended our recovery from divorce and separation course. We empower people. She's now in employment. She's working. She's got her papers. She's got her own place. She's in a better place emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. And that's the work that we do at Tulia. So Tulia means to settle. And to settle is not just to get a biometric residence permit. It's for everything in your life to be whole, for everything in your life to be together, you know, so I'm speaking in Shona. I think sometimes in Shona, then it translates into English. So it's for everything to be whole. And that is the work that we do. It's work that excites me. It's a different business model. You know, it's easy for somebody to be it's not easy. It's hard to be just a lawyer. It's very difficult. It's not easy. But this model embodies the values that I have as the founder. It embodies my personal values, my motivation to do the work that I do, the gaps that I've seen, where I see that there's a gap and we need to fill it. So I'm just been explaining this morning about the work that we do at Tulia. And if you are interested in it, this is not work that Rumbi and a small team can do alone. It's not something that we can do alone. There's a massive problem in the UK with migrants who have irregular status, people who are destitute, people who are desperate. It's a massive, massive problem. And I believe that us as fellow migrants, as people who've lived that experience, we also should help others. As we get up and we're okay, there's others behind us who we need to help. So if it's by instructing us to do your immigration work, you're contributing, because you know that part of the fees that you pay will go on to help somebody else. If we are able to cost the work that we do, from the story that I've told you, it's so much money. I mean, if you're to cost it, if you're to cost even the saving to the NHS, if you're to cost the savings to this country in helping someone out of destitution, out of depression, off from somebody who's suicidal. So the work that we do is priceless. And by you instructing us, you're partnering with us and you're supporting somebody else. Volunteering, we are putting out adverts next week for volunteers. We need volunteers who are qualified to give advice. So you might be a solicitor who says, okay, I'll give 1 day a week to give advice to someone, or to take on one case a year, a month, where I can help somebody. You might be somebody who's a social worker, a counselor. So we're putting out adverts, which will be coming out if you look on our website and our page, where we are showing, we're going to be talking about some of the vacancies in the areas of need. And we're working on a few programs where we're going to be involving everyone, involving the community, because we can do this together and we can help more and more and more and more people, which is our heart and our desire. So students, law students, who look out for the adverts, look out for a brand new project that we're going to be doing, and we're here to work together to bring about change to one person at a time. My mentor, his name is Bishop Carr. He mentored me for many years, and one of the things he says to me is, Rumbi, the power of one. Always focus. Don't be fixated with numbers and big numbers and big conferences, because big conferences look nice, the optics look good. But he said, one person, if you make a difference in one person's life, you're making a massive difference. When you bring one person from being without any status and homeless, being at the point of despair, being depressed, dealing with so many issues and complex issues, and you take that person and you build them up and walk with them until they're independent, until they are giving to the community, until they're coming and volunteering to help somebody else. That for me is success, and that is the motivation for me. So today I'm sorry, I'm going on about Tulia, and I think whoever is listening can see the passion and can see how passionate I am about this vision. I am, and I love to see people's lives transformed holistically, and it's all coming together because this has been so many years in the making. And sometimes you think, why do they do so many different things? And it's because it's a big vision, and sometimes when it's a big vision and you're a visionary, it can look to somebody else like it doesn't make sense. But we thank God, and we're so grateful. So good morning. I can talk forever, there are people who can talk, and I can talk and talk and talk, but today I am supposed to be talking about domestic workers, the requirements for domestic workers. So I'm going to come back onto that topic now. I'm going to come back onto that topic. Thank you for those guys who are joining us on Instagram. Thank you so much. So I'm just gonna be back. Give me 1 minute. Great, I'm back. So today I can't see comments. Somehow I cannot see the comments. So if there's any comments or questions, I'll probably look back and answer them later. But thanks for joining. I can see people. I can see you, but I can't see the comments. So, but that's all right. That's okay. Oh, I see one comment from Maswanda. Hello. Somebody said hi there. But anyway, that's great. Thank you. So the requirements. So some people have been asking me about domestic worker visas. Because last week we talked about childcare. We talked about some of the challenges of raising children in the UK for people who are coming here fresh, or even people who are living here, who've been living here for many, many years. So it's quite a challenge. And we used to have au pairs. We used to also have a domestic worker visa before the new immigration rules came into play post-Brexit. So the current requirements for domestic workers who are entering the UK. So there's two types of people who can bring a domestic worker. So number one is under the current rules. So a domestic worker can apply for a visa to enter the UK if they're traveling to the UK with their current employer. So they need to be with their current employer who is entering the UK either as a British citizen who's not normally resident in the UK. So we've got many British citizens who are now living in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, in Dubai, in other areas. So British citizens who are no longer living in the UK, but they're coming back here. So coming back here for 6 months. Some people come here for 6 months and then go back 6 months and go back. So those people, I'm actually thinking, as I'm talking right now, I'm actually thinking of somebody. My mom, she lives in Zim. She's a British citizen, so she lives in Zim. So when she comes back, so quite a lot of people who are retired, they live like in Zimbabwe for 6 months, and then they come here in the winter. So when you come here, sometimes you need help. You need a person who helps you with housework and things like that. So that group of people can actually apply for a domestic worker to come back with them for those 6 months. Then they can go back. So every time they can come with their domestic worker who was working with them in for them in Zimbabwe. So if you're entering as a British citizen who's not normally resident in the UK, or as a visitor in accordance with the immigration rules. So where a person is visiting for 6 months or less, they can also bring with them somebody who comes as a domestic worker. So one of the rules is that the employer must not intend to remain in the UK for more than 6 months, which is really, really good, because there are many people, you know, the world that we live in now, a lot of people travel in between countries, people work remotely. So some people live in India, live in a hot place for part of the year, and then they come and live in the UK in summer, or come and see their children. But when they come back here, they can bring with them, apply for a domestic worker to come with them. So that's really good. So for that domestic worker to qualify, they must be aged 19 or over. They must have been employed as a domestic worker for 1 year or more immediately prior to the date of the application. So this really applies to people who perhaps have been abroad for a stretch, and that person's been employed by them for a year or more immediately prior to the date of application, and they intend to work for their employer whilst in the UK in their employer's private household, and intend to travel with their employer to the UK. So travel together, work for you, reside with the employer whilst in the UK, and intend to leave the UK at the end of 6 months. So it's only for 6 months, this visa, and they can't take any other employment. And also, obviously, they must be able to maintain and accommodate themselves whilst in the UK without recourse to public funds. So that is for people who have the means, and I think there are lots of people who have the means, people who live between the two countries. So that's a really good provision for bringing a domestic worker with you. And domestic workers who applied for entry clearance before 2012, they used to be able to settle, so you would have to renew every year. And I remember quite a lot of people who came on that visa. That would have been really helpful for the new skilled workers who are coming, because they could have brought in with them a domestic worker under the old rules. But now that's not the case, because you have to be staying here for only up to 6 months. So that's really, really useful, and I hope that makes sense. So some people have asked whether there's other options. As I've been just answering a lot of emails, questions and stuff, people have been asking, are there other options? Like, okay, only these people who are coming back to live here or who are visiting can bring a domestic worker. But what about other people? So, we've got the skilled worker immigration route. There is the skilled worker immigration route, which consolidated most of the different routes that were before 2021. So it consolidated the rules that were all the different routes, most of the routes that were there, like the au pairs and people that we could use in other routes to come into the UK. So under the new skilled worker immigration route, under this route, an applicant may apply to come to the UK if they are sponsored to work in the UK by a UK employer. We all know that, right? I think we know that now. The employer has to have a license, right? And the applicant's job role must fit within the list of eligible occupations, and they must be paid the minimum salary. So, under the list, there is an eligible occupation for childminders and related occupations. So under the list, there's au pairs, child care assistant, childminder, and a nanny. So a company that's got a sponsorship license can apply for can sponsor a nanny to look after the children, can sponsor a childminder, a child care assistant, or an au pair. And the when you look at the income, I've just briefly looked at this. It's 17,600 a year, 868 an hour. So the new eligible occupations, they may assist domestic workers coming to the UK to carry out a specific job role. So perhaps care companies that have got a sponsorship license can bring in a nanny for directors, can bring in a nanny for they can employ a nanny for key people in management roles. They can provide a provision for childcare. So there's quite a lot of scope in that. So childminders and nannies are included, which is very excellent. I think it's great, and I think it's something that can really help a lot of people. In that, I remember when we went on holiday to Zimbabwe. It's so nice having house help, and my daughter, we would get home and she'd say, there was a lady called my someone, and she'd shout, "My Ningi." Whenever she'd always hear my mom calling her. So when we came to England, I heard her shouting, "My Ningi." She says, what I would do to have somebody to help, because here they do all the housework, everyone helps, but it's nice to have house help. So especially for somebody who's got a sponsorship license, that's a really great provision. So I'll let you guys be imaginative and think about that. But I thought that was really good. So this is something that can help. This new option, it can only provide for certain families. So, there's certain families who it's targeted for, who need domestic help, who want to have nannies. And so when the au pair route was taken off, this route replaced that. So there's a lot of rich people who live in England and who really do need to have their helpers. So through their businesses, you can apply for a nanny for directors. So there's lots of people who've got money, and so that's it's not for perhaps somebody who doesn't earn a lot, but for people who, and there are lots of people who earn significant amounts of money, who have got sponsorship licenses. So it's a good route to be able to use for that help. But it doesn't include housekeepers, it doesn't include butlers, it doesn't include cleaners. It's only for people who are doing childcare, nannies and au pairs. So, but the salary is quite high in comparison to what au pairs were paid before. So the restriction, of course, is that the Home Office will have to approve to sponsor such workers, and it looks like it's only possible to obtain a sponsor license where the family is engaged in an active and trading UK business, and there's a genuine justification for why the business would need to sponsor a childminder to care for the owners or the director's children. So it's limited to probably owners and directors of companies, and justifying why they need a nanny, why they can't find one, and that they'll be able to pay them. But it's there, it's a provision, and it's there. So so that's really good that the skilled worker route opens the door in that area. It opens a door for people who are looking to relocate to the UK with their nannies, but also provides for potential for UK-based employers to hire individuals from overseas to assist with childcare, provided, of course, that the strict requirements can be met and that you've sought the legal advice to go through. So I think the rules are, immigration rules are great, and there's always like provisions and things that you can take advantage of and utilize for your particular needs at a particular time, and I think that's something that is really important. So I hope that's been helpful. So there's 3 types for domestic workers. For people who live between 2 countries, so there's Zim returnees. There's a lot of people who are returning, people from South Africa, some have returned, Nigeria, Ghana, India, Pakistan. I remember last time I met somebody who lives in Pakistan in a beautiful place, most of the time, and they work in IT, so they're able to live there. Then they come here to England sometimes. So when you come, you can travel with your domestic worker, and you can have that provision and that ability. Then people who are visiting, they're also able to apply and come with a domestic worker. So if you have an elderly parent who's coming to visit, they can come with a domestic worker and make that it can be easier for them as well, and for you, the child who's got their parent visiting. It's nice for them to have somebody who can help them during the day and look after them and make sure that they are well looked after, so they can travel nasisi. They can travel with somebody who can support and help them. So that's and then skilled workers. So those business owners, we've got a lot of business owners in our communities with sponsorship licenses, and directors' children can also get help, because it's a hard work being self-employed, running a business. And it's great that there is provision for that, as long as you can justify it, as long as you can afford it. So that's great. There's different rules for different people, isn't it? So it is what it is, and that's how it is. But I hope that information is helpful and it's useful for you. And we are going to post up a blog about it on our website, www.tulia.org.uk, which will be really useful for you. Great. I'm now going to look through some of the messages and see if there's any comments on there that I need to respond, or if there's any questions. I'm Louise. It was snowing this morning. I don't know where you are, and you're so blessed to have snow. We don't have snow here. We're just waiting. I love snow. Doc Justice, thank you so much for following. And it's true, Doc Justice is absolutely amazing, and his wife Pamela, they do some work in therapy in Zimbabwe. They do some training, they do corporate work, amazing work in Zimbabwe, and they've come alongside and really helped us in running the recovery from divorce course, the bereavement programs, everything that we do around therapy, around counseling. Doc has counseled so many young people during the pandemic, helped young people whose parents were going through relationship breakdown. Absolute asset and a gem to our community in Zimbabwe, and now in the diaspora. I know he serves people in the US, in China, and his wife Pamela. They're amazing, and they have walked alongside and really supported us in fulfilling this vision, and I'm really grateful. So thank you, Doc, and I encourage everyone, please sign up to the Recovery from Divorce course. It's really, really good. And it's so much healing and so therapeutic, and we're great. We're so happy to be able to offer it. So hi Jude, hi Priscilla. Oh, that's great. So there's no questions today.
Great.
I'm just checking.
So
hi Jude. Yeah, I was just checking to see if there's any questions. We don't have any questions, but I hope that this has been useful for someone, that you've gained some information that will help you. Today I haven't been talking, I know I've had some questions about other different careers and sponsorship licenses in different areas, and we'll definitely cover that. I don't offer one-to-one personally support for people who are seeking to migrate to the UK, so I won't be able to respond to queries in that respect. I'm not a recruiter. I explained at the beginning the work that I do, and one of the areas is we help people to apply for their visas. We help sponsors, so definitely we help sponsors, people who want to register to be a sponsor. So we help companies, charities, people to do that, and then we make applications for individuals, but we don't recruit. But whenever I do come across anything that's useful, I share it. So keep a lookout on my page if you see anything. Like I said before, I don't do due diligence on everything that I share, and I encourage you to do your own due diligence and to check for yourself if it's authentic, if it's not a scam, if you're asked to pay in upfront, ask questions, clarify, and then make a decision for yourself, and really just check to see what is genuine and what is not. So it's up to you. I mean, this is a great opportunity for people to make money in different ways, and you just have to be savvy and make a decision for yourself to decide what it is that you want to do. So we help sponsors. So we do help sponsors to register. We allocate certificates of sponsorships for them. We act as users on their system. We give advice in that respect. And also for individuals making their visa applications, or when they've been refused, we do administrative reviews. So we do all the legal work that's related. And where there's a complication, where somebody's being threatened to have their sponsorship license revoked, where they've breached any of the conditions, we are there to step in for those type of things. That's the type of work that we do, but we don't do individual recruitment. So I hope that is clear, and I wish you all the best. Have an absolutely wonderful weekend, and God bless you, and take care. Thank you so much for watching this morning. I will respond to any other questions later. For anyone who's watching this on replay, I'll check through and respond. Please like this video, please share. And today we've found a good route for help in terms of childcare for some people. So I think that's really great, and that's wonderful. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Be blessed.